Welcome to the Love and Victory Show with Val, where we will bring you candid conversation. In each conversation, we will talk about real life ups and downs while tackling unresolved matters. We will also unmask issues and truly speak straightforward and candid about our needs and brokenness, while allowing ourselves to exhale so that we can become victorious. This is a place where you can be open to the possibilities of living life in abundance while gaining tools to become bold and complete. So let's get to it.
Well, now we are back. As you can see, sitting next to me, or should be sitting next to me,
I don't hear you.
is you can't hear me?
Oh,
Can you hear me now? Okay.
It's me.
That should be sitting next to me is my, here he come, y'all. He always got to have his entrance. Brother Carter will be stepping up to the stage any moment. But now it's time to get into this conversation. Before we get going and do our introductions, I like the way Brother Carter do it, but these ladies have been on the show before. So instead of having Brother Carter do it as he's walking here so cool, so fine, so fresh. We're going to go ahead and just let Tierra introduce yourself. Look into that camera. You don't need, tell people who you are, how you got here. Well, who are you and what you do?
Hi, I'm Tierra Sade. I'm just riding on the grace of God. That's how I got here, just riding on it. But yeah, so I am a part-time adjunct instructor. I teach psychology, developmental psychology, social psychology, general psychology. I'm also co-host of the Real Refined podcast. I am a faith-based coach. I teach a course that will be coming up in the month of June called If She Is to Be Found Healing the Single Woman, where I walk women through the journey that God took me through of healing from past relationship trauma. And yeah, I love the Lord, and you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm here.
Yes. Well, welcome. I tell you, this conversation today is going to be something else because it's your relationship. Okay.
Oh,
now I'm going to turn over here to Coach Bree.
Well, hello.
Tell the people who you are.
Hello, people. I am Coach Bree. I am a wife, a mom, an Army veteran, a podcast host to my lovely guest. You're not my guest, girl. You're my co-host. I'm in podcast mode.
Yes.
Riverfine Podcast, as T said, and did I say certified mindset coach? Certified mindset coach, all the things. And I love God too.
Come on now. That's why you're here. All righty then. Well, we're ready to get this show going, and they over there.
And I want to add one more thing. You ladies are quite beautiful as well.
Thank you.
It is good to be around beautiful people, both inside and out, and y'all have that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, the beauty, people contribute beauty to, external things, but we like to contribute beauty to something within, because if it's in here, that's what we're going to.
That's what I just said.
I know that, but I'm saying we, and I love that you went from the inside out. Yeah. All righty then, in the loop.
So now we are going to keep you guys in the loop. LNV and LV with Val, we always have so much going on. So we definitely want to let you guys know all of the different projects and events we have going. So our nonprofit, LNV Enterprise Resources, Inc., we cater to those with disabilities here in Houston, Texas. So right now we have a school supplies drive going on.
Yes.
So you can drop off any school supplies at 616 FM 1960 Road West, Suite 101. Our office hours are Monday through Thursday, 8:30 to 5. We need backpacks, we need notebooks, pencils, pens, glue sticks, markers, crayons, all that kind of stuff for probably more likely elementary aged students. And we really, really need y'all's donations. If you can't stop by or not in town, we have a QR code up there where you can make a donation. But if you go to lverinc.com, there should be a donation button there. You can make a donation to our website.
Yes.
Now, to help fund this school supplies drive,
Come on.
we are also doing the bowling and brunch event. So we did a bowling and brunch back in December, and it was so successful.
Oh my God.
It was a really good time. And so we're actually doubling it this year. We're going to have twice the amount of tickets, twice the amount of lanes available. We're going to have a fun competition. Brother Carter won last time, and everyone's mad. So we're all trying to. We're going to have.
Bowl better.
We're going to have prizes for the winning teams and the top individual winner, along with raffles, silent auctions, and all that kind of fun stuff. So you can get your ticket by scanning the QR code there. But if you also just go on Eventbrite and search Bowling and Brunch, I think it's like the third or fourth one down, you'll see it. It's from L&B Enterprise Resources, Inc.
I think the thing that I love the most and I really want to see, let's get the teams together. So I'm challenging my people out there, get your team together, buy tickets. I think, how many people have to be on a team?
It's 6 people per team. So gather
y'all
5 of the best bowlers you know.
And make a team out of it, because the competition is going to be real. I'm challenging my peeps to get teams.
Yes.
Alrighty then.
Yes. And again, if you aren't able to make it to bowling brunch or you aren't able to donate school supplies, we are always accepting donations. Again, we help people with disabilities in the community, and every dollar counts, every donation counts, and helps us get closer to our goal. So if you're able, please make a donation to lverinc.com. Now back to the radio side of things, we have other shows, of course. So we have VK Career Conversation. That's the first Monday of every month at 8 a.m. Then we have on Tuesdays, we have Empower Hour with Coach Anna.
Yes.
That's every Tuesday at 5:30 p.m. Now,
Get empowered.
exactly. We also have Tasteful and Toxic on Wednesdays. Okay. But you may have noticed we haven't had any episodes lately because we are actually launching with season 2. And that is coming back on Wednesday, June 5th. So that's going to be our second season, something fresh for you guys. We're
Fresh and new. So
fresh
come on
and
in.
new, some new content for you. And then on Fridays, me and my mom have a show called Journeys and Ambitions. That's on Fridays at 11 a.m.
Oh my God.
And lastly, if you would like to promote your business, do some advertising with us, or do any sort of collabs or partnerships when it comes to the radio stuff, please reach out to me at info@lvwithval.com or call us at 832-913-1359. And we'll be able to work something out.
Keep in mind, we have over 50,000 subscribers.
Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
40,000.
40,000. That's on one platform.
On one platform.
okay.
All of our platforms together is over 100,000.
Over
All right.
100,000.
Yes.
So it's over 100,000 lives
So
that
you
are
can get your
connected.
stuff out.
Love and Victory Show with Val. Look at God.
I do want to play one quick video for you guys that goes a little more in depth about bowling and brunch. So we'll play that for you really quick.
And then we got to get
You're invited to the coolest event of the summer. L&B Enterprise Resources, Inc. is hosting our second bowling and brunch event. If you couldn't make it to the last bowling and brunch, you definitely don't want to miss this one. This one is going to be even bigger and better. I heard Brother Carter is the one to beat. Your ticket includes a bowling lane, bowling shoes, and food. Not to mention, we're going to have some awesome prizes for the top winning team. You can catch us at our Bowling and Brunch event on Sunday, June 30th from 2 to 4 p.m. at Del Mar Lanes in Houston, Texas. I recommend building a team of 6 people for this game. We're hosting this event as a fundraiser for the 2024 school supplies drive. Don't forget to come with a backpack full of school supplies to make a donation. And we're even going to give a prize to the person who brings the most school supplies. We're also going to have raffles and silent auctions. See you there.
Yes.
I want to do a special call out to my family members, the Marshall family. If you're out there listening, I want y'all to get a group of 6 together and come on out and participate.
Okay, then.
See what you can do out there against that Carter crew.
Because I heard the Marshalls do bowling.
They some bowling son of a gun.
Okay, then let's see. We're going to see what they can do. All right, then now it's time for that acronym.
So the acronym of the day is to kind of set the tone for today's conversation. Now, today's conversation is It's Your Relationship. And we're going to break that down for you guys. But the acronym of today is private. P is for principled, guided by strong moral values and ethical principles. R is for rational, logical, and reasonable in thinking. I is for intuitive, having the ability to understand or know something instinctively. V is for vulnerable, easily hurt or susceptible to emotional or physical harm. A is for apathetic, showing lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern. T is for trustworthy, reliable, and deserving of trust and confidence. E is for enigmatic, mysterious and intriguing, often difficult to understand.
I like that one.
I really do. And the conversation is going to go like this here. Candid connection is your relationship. Keeping your romantic business to yourself. Kiss and tell. So we're getting ready to get into this conversation.
You mean don't kiss and tell?
Well,
Or do.
you know, it's a kiss and tell. Are you gonna kiss and tell, or are you gonna keep it to yourself? What you're doing? So we're gonna talk about your relationship.
This is so juicy.
And when you heard this topic, what was your first thought, Bree? I mean, Tierra. I did it again. Tierra. I looked right at Tierra and said, Coach Bree. I do
without looking at her. I knew she looked right at you and said, Bree.
She want me to be Bree so bad.
I just love y'all so much. Y'all one and the same. Don't act like that. You know how
we
your
are
mama.
siblings. We all know how your siblings.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking to. You know what I'm talking to. When you heard this topic, this title, what did you think?
I don't know. So like it's your relationship. I heard the emphasis on your, like it's your relationship. So like doing the work in the relationship was kind of the first thing that came to my mind when I just saw the title.
Oh, okay.
That's good.
What about you, Coach Bree?
For me, when I saw it's your relationship, I was thinking like safe place in a way that we're supposed to be each other's like safe place. Like I should be able to be like that safe haven for my husband and vice versa. It's not everybody's business if we're having ups or downs or things like that. So that's what I initially thought that like this isn't we're not doing like a Broadway show of the Williams.
Let me ask you something.
Okay. I love that.
Coach, I know flesh and blood not telling you what you're saying. But this come from spiritual high, because I know you was not at my house and my wife and I were using some of these same words and terms that you're using here today.
Literally.
Safe place. Yeah. Tell us about that. What does this safe place look like? Explain that.
Okay. So the world kind of make it seem like women are supposed to be his piece, be her piece, these kind of things. But I think we kind of miss the point where we also have to make our spouse or our husband feel safe with us, like trust us and know that if you come and you have a hard time, then the world isn't who you go to. You can come to me. I'm supposed to be your protector in a way. And that also means a protector of your image in a way too, because if husband did something that I didn't like and I go and say, hey, T, guess what he did?
Oh, that's good.
She remembers that. We're going to work through it. We're going to get through it. But that image will be, well, I remember what your husband did. And that's family does that too. So when I think safe place, I really mean like,
shut your damn mouth. Okay.
No,
I like that.
Not that part.
Not that right.
In a nutshell.
Yeah. But more so in a way of the world is what the world is doing. Like whatever they got going is them. But this is me and you. And I had to learn this. This wasn't just we married with going on 13 years. I didn't just wake up and know like this was it's supposed to be part of my marriage. I remember telling my best friend, like, girl, guess what he did? But that's not how it's supposed to be.
That's one of the things. That was one of the things that is truly has been a success for Lawrence and I. We're not taking our business outside of our relationship.
You can't.
But I do think when we talk about safe places, and I appreciate you saying from women and wives giving their spouses a safe place to come and rest their head, because they are also fighting and dealing with stuff on an ongoing basis, and we expect them to be strong
all the time.
But I think that there's also a space where the husbands have to give their wife a safe place to deal with certain things, maybe childhood trauma, maybe something going on at work, maybe without shutting that down. So
I think it goes both ways. I'm on the exact same page. I think being each other's safe space has to go both ways. Because let me just say really quick, there's people are always like, wives need to be submissive. You need to submit to your husband. I get that, but I feel like the door has to be open for us to be submissive, for us to be to follow you. Like if you're the leader, that's amazing, but I got to know where I'm going in just a little bit.
Right.
What's the blueprint? Just some. And the other way around, like we want men to be our protector.
Right.
But what if they're not equipped to be that?
Well, that's
and let me give a male's perspective on this also, because a lot of time we as males want to fix the issues, fix the problem before the problem even get out of the woman. You know, the woman is trying to express something and we already trying to fix it. So that's another cut the crap moment, should I say. That's as males, we may need to just dial back a little bit and let her voice how she feel.
I agree.
And then try to fix it after that.
Give some suggestions to fixing it, or maybe just that wisdom of you now taking that in and you've placed yourself in that emotional. I don't want to say, but probably you felt that pain or that hurt that person is experiencing. Now you can be objective and give it back to them.
Can I say one more thing to the safe space? I'm sorry, I don't want to ramble.
No, go ahead.
It was the healing component of the safe space, is that we shouldn't look at our significant other as the person that's supposed to be healing you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's not their responsibility to take your baggage and do the work for you.
Right.
You're together, but you're still an individual.
Yes.
I'm still me, he's still him, and there's work that we have to do separately that'll allow us to work better together. So that all of that is in that's what will help you both be a safe space for each other. Do the work on yourself.
Ooh, come on,
coaching, coach.
Baby, I'll be quiet now.
Because
don't be your lane, friend.
Don't be quiet, because I think a lot of times it's so easy for people to say, "Oh, we need to go," because what that is, taking the responsibility off of the individual. No, you need to go. Start working on you so that you can bring something healthy to the relationship, to the conversation, versus just trying to say we. Work on you. I love it. All righty then. Well, Abigail, what?
I want to say something. Can you put me on the?
Yeah.
So, I want to be seen and heard. So I want to know what you guys think about like when those couples post online and they're posting all their business, like, and it's not even like, it already irritates me when people do like every week it's, my husband did this for me. My husband bought me flowers. My wife cleaned the house, or she made me, like, you don't need to brag about that. So what do you guys think about those couples that put all that out there, but then maybe they also put out like every fight they have, or they make some big public,
I think
display.
First of all, I think anybody jump in on here, shut me down, tell me what. I think a lot of times you just putting it on for the masses, because who has time to really go there? First of all, who wants to go there every day with every piece of what's going on in your relationship? Now, posting a picture here and there, that's okay.
Yeah,
I don't have a problem with that. But what I have a problem with is when you're taking your personal relationship and business and making it public for people that don't have they really don't give about you.
Those relationships are fake.
I think that a lot of people do that just naturally these days because of social media, and we just putting out a bunch of stuff, even whether it's just pictures, we going on vacations. People just do that naturally, not even thinking about it. And so
I think people turn it into a business.
Well, that's what you think everybody get on podcasts and radio shows for, because they get on there because we want to see 20,000 people say they like it and whatever they're doing.
Yeah, and that's a part of Bree and I have had this conversation about like our coaching businesses and stuff like. And that's something that I'm currently working through. Like when you have a service or anything in your life, you have to put the work into maintaining that.
Right.
And then when you because social media is like its own world. It's like a virtual world, and there's a currency in that world that like you have certain almost social classes in that world based on how many followers you have, how much influence you have, right? So it's like you have to put the work into living your life and maintaining so that's the reality. And then you put all of this work into maintaining the image of that. And sometimes, like for us, we care about doing that work. And sometimes it's difficult because of how much work we're putting into what we do to also make sure that it comes across on social media that way. Like even now, like us being here, we have a platform together. Who has time, child, to be videoing behind the scenes that we're here and what, like, you know what I'm saying? Like it takes a lot of effort to do that. And I think the issue kind of comes in when we put a lot of stake and value on this virtual world and the influence of it, and because it makes a lot of money for people.
Right.
You know, don't get me wrong.
Bravo.
It's important in a lot of ways. Like it's definitely a tool. It's a tool, right?
Yeah.
But when you start to put that much effort into making sure that the world sees your life in a lot of like intimate moments.
Yeah.
I just think we have a limited capacity. I always say this, we're limited beings. How much work are you really and energy do you really have to put into the actual business or the actual relationship?
Right. And then you're opening
what's
yourself
the
up.
cost?
Right.
Yeah. Because guess what?
Yeah.
Y'all ups and downs. We live in a social media age. Like, you might be over that fight, but somebody might comment, to her point, like, or family and friends, but especially you have to think about spiritually, you are exposing your intimate relationship to the world.
Right.
Somebody can make one comment and y'all over y'all good, and now you thinking about something that somebody else is bringing up when you post a picture of y'all being good again. So even spiritually, I think, and I know that's some people's platforms and that is some people's ministry, but we just have to use wisdom with like what we're sharing with the world, because you have to maintain this thing online.
And you're opening yourself up to like negative energy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And that's, I knew this couple. I knew the girl. I worked with her, and she would post all the time about her boyfriend, all the time, everything he did for her. Every day he made this public display. He would bring her something to work every day. I'm like, first of all, don't you have a job? But anyway, that's another story. Get a job, maybe.
Yeah.
But he would bring her something to work every single day, and she would always post like, oh, he got me flowers, he got me chocolates. But then come to find out, because I was in the loop with things, he wasn't cheating, but he was talking to other girls, like flirting with other girls that we worked with.
Them same
One
flowers.
thing
The next day, she's still posting, look how good my boyfriend, I love you so much. It's our 2-year and 3-month 2-week anniversary.
Because she had a lot of stake in that online comment. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have to maintain this. I have to maintain this image.
That goes back to relationships, and I do want to say this here. Making it everybody's business. So sometimes you stay in a relationship because now you have a personal stake in it, because everybody done seen you.
It's embarrassing now.
So if I let go, what are they going to think about me? Come on, Tierra.
Do you know how many people? You said my name. Do you know how many people have said yes to engagements because it was done in front of a lot of people?
Yes.
That's good.
A lot of people that have, even between the engagement and marriage, was having second thoughts, but now it's like, all of these people are involved, and all of these
we already booked the venue,
and something in them is knowing like, this is not right. I should not have said yes, but they still go forward with it because of
just like
the
it's
eyes
gonna be
of people.
a day's thing instead of a lifetime thing.
Yeah, like for this event, I can't let these people down. I don't want these people to think X, Y, and Z. And that's what I'm saying. Like, this whole conversation is just like the bigger conversation is like these public faces and images that we want other people to see, and how much that's not really in congruence with the reality.
Most of the time it's not.
It's not.
And it's very unhealthy when you are, even with new relationships, old relationship, any relation, when you're constantly giving other people the opportunity to feed into your relationships, you're setting your relationship up for failure.
Because all of them people got, even when you're not around and not talking to them, they're talking about your relationship.
Exactly.
And that's a lot. That's how a lot of word curses can get spoken over if it's not people that have wisdom. And they could even mean well, but just be saying certain things, and you set your relationship up for spiritual warfare because you, and I'm guilty of this. Like,
oh yeah,
girl, what do I do?
Let's talk about that, because you said that you're guilty of that. So let's talk about when you kissed and tell.
Okay. We can talk about that.
Before we move on that, I want to piggyback on what y'all was saying here, because there are a lot of people out there in a relationship that are being abused, and they're being abused. And take the abuse to just say that we still have a relationship. And so we have to be careful about how we talk about these relationship type of things. And so let's elaborate on that just a little bit.
That's actually a current topic too. So I don't know if all of you saw the news that broke with the videotape of Diddy abusing Cassie at the hotel. And a lot of people were saying like, oh, she stayed with him for the money. And what the most toxic relationship that I have ever been in, and I mean one where for months after we were broken up and stuff, people kept coming like, oh, what happened to you and that guy? Y'all looked so good together. And I was like, baby, you don't even know. That was like, I made it out of there with my life. Right. It was very toxic. Right. But because of the image of like, oh, y'all look so good together.
Stay there.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm sure on some level for her, like for talking about Cassie, like they were this celebrity couple in the limelight. Like they had this thing going with them. And sometimes that can create an extra layer of pressure. And a lot of times we're putting these people on pedestals in their relationship and there is abuse that's happening behind the scenes.
Yes.
And I think it's important to have these conversations. Me and my friends have just been talking about recently. I said, we have to get to the point as, well, I specifically was talking about women, but men too. You have to know what your values are, what's important to you. You have to know what your deal breakers are. How do you establish that? Look at your past relationships. Yeah. What actually worked? What actually did not work?
And stop compromising yourself.
When you set that, you have, this is the thing. We have to be willing to walk away when it's not matching up.
There you go.
Not saying that people have to be perfect. You got to get those 3 core values. What are they? Those 3 deal breakers. What are they? They're not just deal breaker. They're my soul breakers. Like if I don't get this, I'm not going to be able to function as Tierra.
I can't do it anymore.
I can't. So I don't even need to entertain. If you don't have a relationship with God, baby, what is you even doing in my face?
Come on now.
I can't survive with that. I'm not going to be able to
and
be
you know
me.
This.
Right. Because 90% of my prayers is going to be to get you saved.
Yeah.
I ain't got time for that.
I ain't got time.
But then also to what you're saying, when you think about your values too, when you think about your values, you're going to also wonder why do I even want to be in a relationship to begin with? Because a lot of the time we get into a relationship to fill a void. And to her, Abby's point earlier about social media, there's a sense of validation there.
Yes.
Look at me, look what I'm doing, because you're trying to fill a hole that you have. So because you have that hole, some people fill it with drugs and sex and other things, when really, why are you filling it with something that
and see, and I was going to ask you, do that lead to mental health issues?
Absolutely.
For real.
100%. If you don't know why you're even wanting to go into a relationship and you're just going because, well, I saw my mom with someone all the time. I saw my dad with someone for all the time. If you don't get to the root and get to your values, your core values, you're going to repeat the same cycles. You're going to continue the toxic cycles until you realize like, oh, snap, there's some healing way back when that I needed to do. So yeah, values, absolutely 100%.
I think
know why.
And I think also on that, along that same line, do you think that sometime people don't deal with that healing part because they don't see it as being broken? Or
absolutely.
And so what they do is they tend to just look at you or go through like, it's something wrong with that person, but they really, so there's
and it's
no
easier
feeling,
to do that.
It's no feeling there for them.
It's easy when you're a toxic individual to not even recognize that you're toxic.
Most of the people that are
normal.
Talking about it, that is the hard reality that I had to get to in order for me to change. Like the people that I attract, totally different, because I had to sit with, well, Tierra, you keep saying all these men is trash, but you keep talking to them. So what is it about me where they feel like they can come be trash with me?
Yes. Come on now.
Like you really have to sit with that, because we live in a very narcissistic society. We all think we deserve. You deserve what you settle for. How about that?
Yeah.
What you say?
You deserve what you settle for.
That right there.
Because that's what you're willing to do the work
sing
for.
That Tank song.
Okay, now I'm gonna ask this question.
Come on.
Do you kiss and tell? Or can you tell?
So I can.
Okay.
So I know Bree's a married woman, so I'm not.
That's why I started with you. Bree ain't the only one that's a married woman.
Oh yeah, of course you are.
Okay, thank you.
Period. Let's get that straight, right? No, but so I think women, I think, at least for me and in my circle of friends, like our kiss and tell is more like what's happening I feel like we talk a lot about like the things that we're insecure about in the relationships. And I will say that we as women, and this is something that I'm working on, we have a tendency to share when stuff isn't right. And most of the time, not all the time, not generalized, but I've noticed that like men, they could have something that the woman is doing that they feel like is not up to par or that could be toxic, but they're more likely to protect her by not sharing that with people. They won't say anything to other people about it. But we as women, we will go to our girlfriends, we will go to our mom, we'll go to our sister, and we'll drag that man through the mud. And I don't know if the motivation behind that is I need people on my side, or I feel insecure, I'm not sure of myself, so I just need another point of view, or if it's, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know what the motive is, or we just like to talk. Like,
I like that.
Yeah, that part too.
I like that, but I also like to turn it on another side. Could it be that person doesn't feel safe talking to that person about it? So therefore they have to get it out some kind of way. And that's where they need to be careful in having that conversation. To your point earlier that once you've moved on and you guys have worked through that, they still have the view of that person or the opinion of that person that you went dumped on. So it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, giving your spouse a safe place to express what they feel.
And the communication that she talked about. If your spouse or partner doesn't communicate, then and those were the times where I did like go to my girlfriends, like, am I tripping? Like, is it me? Because the other person maybe, you know what I'm saying, like, hey, I feel blah, 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 blah. And it's, well, I don't understand. You understand.
You understand. Stop
playing
like,
hold on. They probably didn't, because some people don't have the capacity, or they're not at that level of communication, especially if in their childhood they were shut down all the time. And people, we got to think about, just like I talk about boundaries, some of us were not taught effective communication. I'm going to just be honest.
Really
so we have to, and we can't use it as a crutch. I will say, just because you weren't taught that, doesn't mean that's your excuse. Well, my mama never told me how to tie my shoe. No, like you have to.
I am.
Not tie my shoe.
Like that was on my head. Like you have to do the work. So that person may not have the capacity or understanding to communicate with you, but that's no excuse. What are you going to do now to become an effective communicator? Okay, maybe I need to go to therapy. Maybe there's something I need to be doing so that I can communicate better.
or at least start on my healing, because there is a reason there is a blockage for my communication skills, or being willing to actually understand where you're coming from. It's not that they don't want to. Maybe,
they don't know how.
They just don't know how.
There's a root to everything.
Ignorant to communicating. Also, when you're communicating, it's not good to just go to somebody that's going to agree with you all the time.
Yes,
100%.
That's what I was going to add too. Like for men who are not as vocal as women are, maybe that is the time to bring people in your business. If you have married friends or men that you respect or that you know are just good dudes, maybe that's the opportunity to go to them and say like, hey, she's saying X, Y, and Z, and I don't really get what she mean. Like maybe that's the time to kiss and tell and say, hey, this is what we're dealing with, and how do I manage this? How do I deal with this?
That's good.
Because 9 times out of 10, most marriages are pretty much the same.
How?
9 times out of 10.
What do you mean?
Those same issues are in most relationships.
Like communication?
I don't think so.
Trust and believe. Trust and believe.
We about to jump on.
Everybody relationship is not hunky door going on. There are issues in every relationship. I mean, just look at the world itself at large, and everybody. Not everybody. I got to stop saying everybody.
Thank you.
But most people have mental health issues. Walking around normal. And so if you two people with mental health issues, you're bound to have some issues within your home.
Especially if it's undiagnosed. Yeah. They're not aware of it.
You know what I'm saying? And so there are a lot of us out there. You see what I said? A lot of us out there that are unstable in some kind of way, haven't dealt with some kind of childhood drama or whatever it is, and we brought it into this relationship in which we have today, and we're still trying to deal with each other. You got your baggage, I got my baggage, and neither one of us never dealt with the baggage.
And sometimes that baggage is incompatible. So now you're triggering me and I'm triggering you. Now we're both sitting here triggered because we don't realize what the problem is.
But when does it stop? Being heard,
when does it
when the
stop?
lack of communication come in.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, most people want to be heard.
I hear exactly what you're saying, and I do agree.
I didn't finish though.
Oh, I'm sorry, you still going? Okay, keep going.
See, that's what I was saying. Most people wants to be heard, but very few want to understand.
Yeah, I
and so very few out there really want to understand your feelings, because I got my own feelings. I'm just using me and you as an example. So
that's good.
Yeah, go ahead.
What I was saying was, I think that's what I get for cutting you off.
Okay.
But what I was saying was, I think that it's not that the person, every relationship have problems. I think that it all starts with communication and, and everything that you do, everything that we do. And then the communication each individual has to have the capacity to be able to communicate. And as you guys were saying earlier, if you haven't been taught how to communicate, or maybe my home was coming up with a very loud home. Yeah. And so because my home was so loud coming up, everything was projected in order to get it out. So where my husband's home was a quiet home.
Right.
And so my projecting in his quiet home, that was a clash. Right. And so,
where's the compromise in this?
Well, the compromise, you have to find some way to hear one another, hear the need of one another. Would you, come on, Coach, help me out.
Like you're meeting in the middle.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the time people say, well, you don't know how I feel. You're right. I don't know how you feel. I haven't been in your exact situation. We didn't experience the same trauma in our childhood, if there was any. Maybe I experienced trauma and he didn't, vice versa. So we're not going to always know how they feel or what they went through, but there's a middle somewhere where we can compromise and say, hey, husband, these are my triggers. So when I get like this, please help me with it.
Yes.
But it's
hey,
so
wife,
hard.
if something happens, if I shut down, please help me with so and so. Not saying I'm healing you, right? But there has to be a compromise in the middle where we're both equally yoked and we're with each other, doing it together, not playing on different teams. We're on the same team.
Right.
Same team. You can't be shooting at this basket. I'm shooting at the other one.
Right.
You know what
right.
I mean?
Right.
I was gonna say it was very hard when I was with the ex-loser. It was very hard trying to make him meet me in the middle, because I'm coming in like, wait, you're going out of bounds, you're being disrespectful. I'm gonna wait until you cool out and then come meet me again.
But you weren't evenly yoked. You heard what she said. The key thing was you have to be evenly yoked.
Exactly.
Let me break down this evenly yoked thing for a second, if you will. This evenly yoked thing here, you have to have a common love for one another.
Yeah.
Okay. Because without love, you cannot. I can't hear you if I don't actually love you. You know what I'm saying? You can't hear me if you don't actually just love me. You love me enough to hear what I have to say. You love me enough to feel what I'm feeling.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He never did.
I think a lot of relationships aren't built out of, I'm not saying marriages necessarily, but I think a lot of relationships aren't built out of love.
And that's
it's built
problem.
Out of status, money, convenience,
loneliness,
appearances, loneliness.
Yes.
And so that's why they're not willing to meet each other in the middle, because they don't have a genuine love and care for that person.
Wow.
I'm with you because it benefits me
Yes,
in some way. So why would I even care about your feelings when I need you to just sit there and look good or
And
whatever it is.
like that. And the question really is, do you love me enough that when you start seeing like that ugly side, like when I start unpacking this bag, it all come with bags.
All come with
it. When I start unpacking, do you love me unconditionally?
Yeah.
Like, do you love me enough to say, dang, yo, that's wow, that's real. Like, dang, you got something going. Stop the deal. I don't think any of us come with unconditional love. I think that comes,
it grows
as you go through things.
Yeah.
So like, I'm thinking of like 1 Corinthians when it talks about what love is. One of the things it says is that like love is not selfish. So that means that if me and you come to a point and we have two opposing opinions or, you know, want to do things
two different ways. If I love you, or if I'm operating in love with you, I'm not just thinking about getting my way in the end. I'm considering, what does my partner need?
Mm-hmm.
What is it? Why do I feel like they are really pressing for this decision to go this way? Have I asked them why? Have I asked them what they need? Have I considered, if I get my way, how will that hurt them? If, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what not being selfish looks like in love. But a lot of us are very self-serving. I keep saying we live in a very narcissistic society. It's very self-serving. So when we show up in relationships, I'm not thinking about how that's gonna affect you. You're gonna have to be all right with, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's really about, am I willing to put aside? And I even think of this in my relationship with God, and we all should, if we are believers, right? Sometimes I be saying yeah, and God be saying no. Sometimes I be saying I want to go left, and he be like, right. There's things that I have not done, not having nothing to do with my own will or desire, or like, no, I was all for, like, I'm gonna go do this thing, and I hear no, and that's when you have to pause and say, your ways are higher than my ways. Your thoughts are higher than my thoughts. Like, if you say no, I don't agree with you, but I'm gonna agree with you
because I love you that much.
And I know most of us don't do that with God. So how then can we get with another person who's flawed, and we can point out, well, you did. God's perfect. His no is righteous and just. Then we get with a person that has flaws, and when they say no, we have no capacity to consider not getting our way with them. That's why it's this tension, because we don't live to get what we want. I want this kind of house. I want this type of image on social media. You interfering with my image. That's what we live for.
Let me tell y'all something. This has been some vitamin A, B, C, and D.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. That's all I can tell you. It's time for our Q&A. I know these people. I see these comments going. What's going on?
Yes, there was one that I wanted us to answer. I think it was this one from Lucas. Lucas says, how much do you want your relationship to be seen by others?
Well,
can I answer first?
You can jump on that. Go ahead.
Yes.
10%.
I used to be that person that posted all over social media. Let's make it Facebook official. I'm posting. And then when you break up, you got to take all those pictures down. It sends a notification that you changed your relationship
30 minutes
status.
later.
Change your status now.
It's like all these like you're already dealing with the emotional breakup. And then you have to now do it socially, right? And that's a whole added layer of like hurt, and you have to go through and have conversations, and you're embarrassed. So I am not like that anymore. I definitely value, like, if you know, if you're in my inner circle, you know what I got going on in my relationship. And if you're not, then you can, it's up to your assumption, whatever you believe or you don't believe. However, I do not want to be hidden. Because one thing I'm not going to do is you're messaging girls and you don't got any pictures, nothing. No, even like little like hint that maybe you're actually single online.
Exactly.
And now these people are in your DM. No. So
that's when I would have an issue.
Yeah. I don't want to be hidden.
Ain't nothing to hide.
So back to the
I'm bold and I'm
Put
proud.
the question back out there again.
Yeah.
How much do you want your relationship to be seen by others?
And I'm going to go, I'll answer that question. First of all, my relationship is our relationship. And so it is not for you.
We got 100-year-old relationship. So ours is different.
Okay. So for me personally, I don't post for other people. If I'm posting something, and you can go through all of it, it's mostly about my family and us having a good time. And so I'm not posting to get your likes. If you enjoy it, you get something out of it, thank God. But I think that when you're in a new and fresh relationship, in any relationship, you need to kind of protect your relationship.
When I post for likes. I want to see. I want to see y'all like my stuff.
Can I add one thing real quick, Tierra? Sorry.
I have something too.
Also, and even when it comes to not even just posting, just like conversations, right? Yeah. Like I said, my inner circle knows what's going on in my relationship, who I'm dating and stuff like that. But if I'm saying so much that you feel the need to have an opinion on my relationship, I've said too much.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't need your opinion. I don't need you to say, unless you think I'm being unsafe in some way.
But take that offline, because if you care enough about me, you take that offline.
Right. You shouldn't have an opinion on. I don't want to share enough for that.
I was just gonna add that, like, it makes me cringe because I go look at both. It makes me cringe when I see like a woman that has like she's always tagging her partner in the pictures and always posting about her partner. Then you go to his page and there's nothing there.
Nothing there about him.
Picture of a fish.
Nothing there about her. Like,
Right. Something
she
up
don't
on that.
exist over
She don't
there.
even exist.
Guilty.
No, baby, I'm on your page. What are you talking about? You
No,
think
I
you should-
mean, I don't post a lot.
Well,
no,
but you
no,
post
no,
your
no,
wife,
no,
and that's the distinction too. If you're a person that's not on social media like that, of course that's understandable.
Yes.
But if you posting all the time and you're sharing certain details about your life when you bought a car, and
Yeah.
if you're doing all of
just
that,
have selfies all the
and
time.
you're and we're spending a significant amount of time
Exactly,
together,
yeah.
and you're going out of your way to only capture when it's just you and
You
your
looking single?
Don't play with me.
Don't play in my face.
Do not play in my face like that.
I
get that.
want to give a shout out on here. Thank you, Queen Sheba. Queen Sheba gave
Queen
us.
Sheba.
She gave us a little.
She gave us some
a little
love out
ching-ching.
here. She gave us some ching 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 ching. Thank you for your your
Yes.
$9.99.
So now y'all know
Y'all
that's
know.
something you can do.
That's
something you can do.
So I thank you guys so much. Keep going with the comments, but I do appreciate that. Thank you, Queen Sheba.
Yes. We're ready for the next one?
Yes.
So we had one from Solomon said, what is a good way to address shared trauma responses?
Oh, I'm gonna turn that over to Coach.
A good
I
way
love
to
that
address
question.
shared
Come on.
trauma.
So I guess what he's saying is like when y'all both respond the same way to trauma. I think that's what he's asking.
Yeah.
So my first suggestion in anything, like I said earlier, y'all are individuals.
Mhm.
So if y'all are both responding the same way, that means there's work for y'all to do individually.
Mhm.
And I know that like that's just a blanket response, but it's really important that your wife and your husband, y'all both go back and you say, dang, we both just blew up. Why did we do that?
Mhm.
Why did I throw something at the window and you threw something at the window too? Like, why did I smash this and you also smashed this? There has to be-
Egging each other on.
Exactly.
Fueling the fire.
There's something underneath both, and it's not really, y'all can go to it and y'all can communicate, but there is healing on that back end that y'all are supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of us like attacking each other, y'all need to pause. Let's pause for a second and figure out why. There's a root to everything. And sometimes, and people don't want to bring that up, bring the root up because how ugly it is. And when you have to look in the mirror and say, dang, you are flawed self, and self is looking back to you like, I'm good. No, it's time to unpack. Like all those bags that we carry all the time that you saying you're bringing into your relationship, they're heavy and you're going to get tired.
And because I think a lot of times to look at that, then that means that you have to say it wasn't as pretty as you started to believe that it was coming up.
We have this picture of our life and we picture what our relationships should be like. We see what we want ourselves to be like, this corporate life, this, and this, the fancy car. We see all of those things. And when it's not that, we're immediately discouraged and we're feeling like, well, why am I not there yet? Or what happened? Or we start to blame the partner. We're like, you didn't help me get there. No. Why are you not there?
Why aren't you?
Are you doing the work? Are you not doing the work?
And what
And stop looking at what the
happened?
Joneses got and trying to be like
I
them.
was just
Right
going to
there.
say, stop
Right
comparing.
there.
That's the other thing too with the whole social media thing. That's why I don't really be on social media like that. We compare our lives too much to other people.
Yes.
Our relationships, we see all the great things that they're doing. Or like when someone posts a car, you don't know what it
they
took
going
for
through
them to get
a
that car.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is your credit score lined up for you to get that car too?
It's a lease that they can't pay for.
Or
So
they paying $3,000 a month.
yeah.
But to his point, at the end of the day, seek healing individually.
Yes.
That's it.
That's so
Yes.
important. Next one.
We have one from Anna. Will read this one. This one's from Ray. This is a good one.
Why do people nowadays think without sharing relationships with others means you don't love or are committed to the relationship?
Again, I'm going to take that back to what Tierra was saying. Why does say it again?
Like,
Why do
sharing.
people think that like if you don't share details about the relationship that means that you don't love and you're not committed to the person?
I think
So
that's
good.
twofold. You don't have to share, but I think if you're hiding something, you're hiding
You
something.
mean
Yeah.
discuss relationship problems from the past or in your present?
Just sharing the relationship at all. Like I don't think it's talking about
giving the
problems. Just like
present. With other
sharing
people.
Sharing,
the relationship itself.
I'm taking that from just, I'm going back to a post. So
Yeah.
I really like, and I don't know, he's not really being specific in that.
I'm thinking social media.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I'm thinking from a social media. I
Yeah.
think a post, and that goes back to
Tierra, if I'm in a relationship, or what you said, if I'm in a relationship, why are you hiding me?
Right.
You know, and you don't have to get into everything about me, but why are you hiding me?
And
Like,
it doesn't have
I'm
vacation
hiding
photos
you
or
because I am married and I don't need you on my post.
Yeah.
and it doesn't even have to be you actually like posting a picture of me, but it could just be like you not liking booty pictures.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly. Let me see your username on the booty
you not
picture
having
because
ongoing
you're in trouble.
conversations with women as though you're available. Like it doesn't even have to be like this, you know,
This thing we're
it doesn't
Can
even
I
have to
give
be
some
that.
advice talking about man might
Please,
be married,
please.
you know, because if you don't have his social media, you don't know where he live. You can't call him at certain times of the evening or day.
Are you talking about,
he don't answer.
he's talking about a mistress? Is that what you're talking about?
No.
There's
a lot of women out there that are with guys. I know people that are with guys, but I talked to this particular lady. She always asks me about a particular guy. And I say, have you ever been to his house? And she was like, no. I say, can you call him at night? No,
he got a wife. That's why.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
he's probably married. He probably have a whole family somewhere. If you don't have any of these connections with him,
right.
Yeah,
but
I ain't the one to try to put your business out like that. But
but it's the truth. I think that's some good feedback coming from a man to a woman. I mean, come on, look at the signs.
Yeah,
you know, or vice versa. If it's a woman playing that game with the guy, you're over here putting yourself out there as if you're single, but then you're controlling when I can and when I cannot talk.
I have
to
a
you.
question.
Sure.
What is the distinction between like where is that line between you're hiding me versus, you know, we not doing anything for social media? What's that line to y'all in relationships? What's the difference between hiding and, you know, I'm just not putting my business on social media?
I think it goes when you literally have to ask them, like, hey, why aren't you putting something up about us?
But what if it's somebody who
blank.
puts a lot of value on social media? Because that person's going to ask.
Right. Because I also understand sometimes professionally you have a certain like image on social media where you don't post anything personal. You don't post your kids. Like there's some people who don't post their kids at all. It doesn't mean they're trying. I mean, with all the creepers online, I get that, not posting your kids and stuff like that. But I think it's different for the individual person and their boundaries. Some people don't care. Then if you are the type of person that you don't ever want to post your relationship, you never want to post you getting married, you never want to post like a vacation picture, nothing, and it's really important to the other person, that you might need to find somebody who's maybe on that same level when it comes to social media. I think both people can compromise.
Halfway.
If you're on a vacation, you and your spouse, and y'all out for the weekend or whatever, and you pick your camera up, try to take a picture, and they hide.
Because not every picture I take is going to go on Instagram or whatever. Some of it's going to be just for me.
Like doing this here.
Yeah.
Coach Bree, I see you have some. Her brain is going.
I'm thinking. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like we put too much emphasis on social media. So we're not that serious.
Yeah.
And if you're in a relationship that requires you to be posted, there's something that you need to look at. Like, am I looking for validation? Is it acceptance? What is that? Why do I feel like I need to be posted on your page anyway? But that goes back to your relationship, which is, hey, you know, sometimes I do want to be posted. And my husband, he's not a poster. Like he doesn't do the social media stuff. And way back when I was like, well, I don't know your social media.
That's a good man, Savannah.
But as I got older, I could care less about the social media image. I could care less about anybody knowing our moves. My inner circle knows exactly
what you got going on.
Exactly.
They know that. And that it is what it is. Social media is just it is what it is.
I think a big part of that too is the security within your relationship. Like without social media being a thing at all. Like if you don't feel secure, you feel like he's moving weird. It seems like he's not sure. It seems like he doesn't want to commit. Like those things, and you feel it. I think that's what might open the door to like, well, maybe I can get some kind of external validation that
is what it is.
You'll have to go back and talk about your own, because we all have our own insecurities, male and female.
And that needs to be.
Y'all have to communicate.
You have
to talk.
Kind of like what Tierra said earlier, though. Like, if someone doesn't post and they don't post, that's kind of like the standard that they have set. But if you're posting every single one of your friends, all your other personal business, but I'm the one thing that
would
you
be where
won't
I have an
post.
issue.
That's where I would have an issue.
But why do we care so much? Yeah.
Because maybe I'm insecure.
If the relationship is solid, then no. But if there's some insecure feeling within it, it's like, that's when I would feel away, because I'm just like, okay, let's figure out what's going on, because first of all, second of all, and third, you ain't got nothing to be ashamed of.
You heard what she said.
Yeah, but you start questioning yourself.
You will. And that's a real thing. And I've been there. That's a real thing.
But that goes back to checking who you're in this relationship with.
Absolutely.
Do I trust them enough?
Why opening? And I think what happens is a lot of times with women, being emotional, we go into a relationship head on. You know, it's like we're taking a dive in when you haven't really got to, you haven't gotten the lay of the land and really taken some time to really see who you're connecting and who you're hooking yourself
and
up
feeling
with.
an empty space. Don't even want to post him, because if you saw the type of women he talking to in the inbox, you would be embarrassed.
In a relationship, trying to fill that void of empty space. It's an empty space, and you're sitting here looking like your time clock is going, or like you're in a hurry to get something based off of what somebody else is happening in their relationship, and it all goes back to social media.
You're clocking yourself in a way to say, by 30 I want to do this, by 35 I want to do this, and you see everyone else doing that, and then now you're frustrated even with yourself and God, like, well, God, why hasn't it happened yet?
Because you're comparing.
You're comparing.
Exactly.
You see so and so bought a house, and then you're like, well, I want to buy a house having no money, no stable relation. You know what I'm saying?
Go buy it on your own.
Yeah.
It's time for final thoughts. This has been an amazing show. We didn't get through half of what I wanted to talk about. But we got through what God needed us to talk about. There will be a part. And I really want us to think about this: kissing and telling all of your business. You know, I think there are certain things that are should be left private.
Yes.
And then there are things that I think you have experienced in life that can be a blessing and a help for someone else.
Absolutely.
So be very careful in what you're kissing and telling. Let's go. That was my thought on that. So let's go with the final thought, and I'm going to look over at Coach Bree. What do you want?
You actually looked at it.
You're doing so good. One Coach Bree too.
Time. Let me tell you, don't be giving me a hard time. It's it's like your children. You know who I'm talking to. Hey, you, come here.
My final thought would be, I'm still stuck on the healing portion. To begin to unpack your bags, even sometimes before you get into a relationship, start unpacking so that when you get into this relationship, you are in a more healed state. Healing is ongoing, so you're not going to be, fully healed. It's an ongoing process, and that's if you're single going to relationship. But if you're already in this relationship, in your marriage, y'all both have baggage. Heal individually. You are both two separate people. It's not required that you do every single thing together. Y'all can't sit on the toilet together at once. Like you're going to have to spend that time by yourself with God and say, please take it up out of my heart, cleanse my heart so that I can be a better me for me in you and for my spouse.
Yes.
So
good.
That's what I leave y'all with.
I love that.
Good.
All righty. Come on, Tierra. What you want to leave them with? And how can they find you before we go?
Oh, you're right.
Let the people know. Look into that camera right there.
Okay. You can find me on Instagram at I am Coach Bree, and TikTok is the same. I don't know what goes on there, but yes, same. Also, Real Refined Podcast is on Instagram. It's on TikTok, and get over there.
Get over there. You got some healing.
Got some healing to do.
Yes. Okay.
So, Coach, that's your first name, Coach?
Sometimes. Sometimes, yes. It's also mommy. It's also wifey, friend.
I never hear you refer to yourself by your first name.
My first name is Brianna.
Brianna? Okay.
With one N.
One N?
Oh, one N.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
And when I get mad at her, I call her Brianna.
It's a pretty name, though.
It is.
You got to call her by her first and her middle name. Do you have a middle name?
I do. I'm not saying it on here.
I'm gonna wrap this show up. Come on.
So my final thought is actually a challenge to everyone. Consider getting off of social media altogether for at least a time. I did it for a little over a year, and it was the best. Oh my gosh, I did not want to come back. I tell you the truth, I didn't.
I only came back for the podcast.
Exactly.
Wow.
Same.
Is that like getting off the booze for?
Yeah, because I mean, social media really is an addiction for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And they created it that way.
What he just did. He's like, you can't have a drink.
It's healthier on the side of no social media.
It really is.
Yeah.
I mean, and just get off social media for a time and start to address some of those things. Because sometimes I think social media, looking at other people's relationships and just taking all of that stuff in spiritually, you just opening yourself up to a lot of different influences. And then if you're posting actively, you're opening yourselves up to the opinions and voices of a lot of people.
Negative energy.
Exactly. Or demonic spirits is what I call it. But just consider getting off for a time and doing the work on yourself and on your relationship to heal without that distraction there, and see if you even have a solid foundation outside of social media. It's not even the real world.
Oh,
Yeah.
And how can they find you? Who are you?
You can find me
On the Victory Show.
You can. You definitely can find me here.
There you go.
You will find me here. You can also find me on Instagram at the Tierra Sade. You can go to my website, thetierrasade.com, and register for my upcoming class, If She Is to Be Found, Healing the Single Woman, which is for single and married women. You can also find me on TikTok at Tierra Sade, and you can find me on Real Refined Podcast on YouTube and the other platforms that Bree also shared. That's how you can keep up with me.
And she is doing some balls. Both of these ladies
Phenomenal.
are amazing, amazing. And to my bad crew back there, Anna, what did you think about the show, and what do you want to leave the
It's
people
amazing. I always love talking about relationships and, comparing who I used to be to how now I think about relationships, especially with ex-loser. You guys know all my beef over there. And now from looking at it where I am, I really like what you said, like being in that relationship with yourself first and unpack that baggage.
Yes.
And when you're ready, take it slow, be chill, like get to know that person, because at the end of the day, like, who are you dating, right? You never know. There's all these analyzings, murders of people who meet for 1 month and they already, hacked up in some bag.
Yes.
So we're not doing that. We're getting to know the people that we need to know and being in a relationship with yourself. Love yourself first. Pour your own cup first.
Oh, come on now. All righty.
Stop accepting the representative.
Yeah, stop accepting ex-losers. Yes.
Okay. Abigail.
Yeah, I liked this episode because I think, like you said earlier, as women, we love to talk about, well, he did this and he said this, and we like a good gossip session. I love a gossip session much as the next girl.
Yeah.
But you do have to be very mindful of who you let into your relationship and what you're putting out there, even to your close friends. Sometimes the very first thing you said was the point that I was ready, and then you beat me to it, was that you can tell people, this is happening in our relationship, we're fighting about this, and your friend or your family member is only going to remember that negative thing.
Yeah.
So it's important to talk about things, again, for your safety, if there's any sort of abuse happening. But if it's just, arguments or regular disagreements, that is very normal in relationships, you kind of want to keep that to yourself so that other people aren't passing those types of judgments on your relationship. So I've definitely seen the value in privacy in relationships in the past couple years, and this was a good conversation that I hopefully can help other people get there too.
Alrighty.
I love the privacy part. That's my favorite part.
Mine
I mean,
too.
there's other
Then you can
parts,
enjoy it. You can really enjoy it.
more.
Yeah.
It's your
You do.
relationship.
Yeah.
Your relationship. Brother Carter, you gonna close us out?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. Again.
Being the only male on the set.
You can have the floor. Again, guys, protect yourself, protect your relationships, and more importantly, start unpacking. There is some stuff that is down there from childhood, and maybe there's some things that have happened to you in your adulthood that is traumatizing to you.
Yeah.
It will manifest itself again at some point. Just make sure that you are doing the work to get the healing. When something comes up, there is a reason. Maybe there is a different level. I think you said something earlier about maybe it was okay at that time that I got past what I got past. Now God is taking me to another level in 2024. That's why that thing came back up and it punched me in the chest. So, oh Lord, this was a great show. I love it. I love it. I love it. Brother
Just to piggyback on what you were saying now, when things come up, you don't necessarily have to throw up. Okay, so in effective communication, is always good to take a deep breath.
Breathe.
Don't just what's the word? Not throw up, but another word for
Vomit.
that. Not vomit. Well, anyway, you know what I'm saying. Don't spew all your hurt and anger out on your significant other or the person you're trying to have a relationship with, or vice versa. You know, it's good to just take a deep breath sometime. Say, this is how I feel. That's the beginning of effective communication.
100.
If you start off just yelling, it's going to end yelling. That's all I'm going to say about
And to
that.
remember that anger is secondary, not the primary
It's not-
emotion that
it's
you
not
feel. There's
enough.
something underneath
Right.
that. Something,
Very
Facts.
good.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
But thank y'all for tuning in to the Love and Victory Show with Val. Here's your host, Val, and she just says what?
I love you guys, and we'll see you next Saturday.